At the top of USO League One, the Greenville Triumph finish off their homestand tonight with a rematch against the hot side Fort Lauderdale CF. Tonight's match presented by Pepsi of Greenville. I'm Chris Makovic, alongside me Ross Davenport. Fort Lauderdale unbeaten in their last three, 2 wins in their last 2 matches. Certainly a different team than we saw against Greenville to open up the season. 2-0 win for Greenville. And the Triumph, bit of a different look themselves last week against Chattanooga in the first half. John Hark's trying something new as we check out our Joan Hurlong and Associates player to watch. Tyler Pollock and the wingbacks, a big part of that formation change.
Yeah, we hadn't seen John Hark stray too much from his traditional 4-4-2 in the first season and a quarter with Greenville, but we saw them come out in a 3-5-2 last weekend against Chattanooga with Tyler Pollock playing the sort of wing-back position. He does love to get forward. The formation saw perhaps take a little bit of the defensive responsibilities away from Pollock, but the team ended up going back to 4-4-2 at the half, and it worked very well.
Abdi Muhammad and Tyler Pollock both with 3 interceptions last time these two teams played. The player really to watch on the other side is a player we didn't see face the Triumph a few weeks ago. It's Eduardo Sosa, who has played just 3 matches with Fort Lauderdale and 3 assists to his name.
Listen, John Harks was raving about Sosa in our call early this week. Quality player, reads the game well, technically gifted, and again, Fort Lauderdale looked like a much better team since his return to action. He missed the first couple of games getting back to full fitness.
The familiar League One face, Ricky Lopez Espin. He's at the top of the league with 5 goals, leading the Golden Boot race early on this season. We'll see if he can continue that tonight against the league leaders. Greenville trying to keep the Richmond Kickers back just a bit more with a win here tonight. Can they find it against the hot Fort Lauderdale CF side? We'll see next on the CW.
Health. Suddenly that word seems more important these days, as it's consumed all aspects of our lives and made our universes feel smaller than ever. But at Bon Secours, your health has always been our top priority, and we're staying as committed as always to personalizing the right care for you. Because whether here or from home, we believe your health care should always revolve around you. Bon Secours, primary care for the universe of you. Visit bonsecours.com/primary care to connect with the provider today.
What's Greenville's best kept secret for auto loans? Greenville Heritage Federal Credit Union. If you're on the market for a new car, visit Greenville Heritage before you start shopping to get pre-approved and save yourself a lot of hassle and a whole lot of money. Or refinance your current car loan for a better interest rate. It's a simple process that could save you hundreds of dollars. Visit greenvilleheritage.com to find the branch nearest you and start saving money. Federally insured by the NCUA.
We offer a full array of dental treatment, and what that provides you as a patient is you're able to come to one place and get comprehensive care under one roof.
I've always been greeted with a smile. They know me when I call. I trust them.
We'd love to see you at Wood Creek Dental. Visit us at woodcreekdental.com.
There's no substitute for hard work. You have to put in the time. Dedicate yourself to the goal. I didn't make it to the Hall of Fame on my own. I had a team and we worked hard together. I had coaches and a playbook with the answers. It's no different in business. Now I own a Janny King franchise because they've got the winning playbook and a team that supports me. Get in the game and get ready to shine. Go to jannyking.com to get started today.
Welcome back here to the upstate of South Carolina, a match presented by Pepsi of Greenville. And one of those midfielders for the Triumph that we will be keeping an eye on here tonight up against Eduardo Sosa is Noah Pilato, who has had a great start to the season in the spot of Paul Klaus from a year ago.
Yeah, no doubt. Pilato comes in from the defending champs, North Texas. He had the turnover right here. You'll see he pokes it away, which gets the ball to Alex Morello, who then found Lachlan McLean for his first professional goal on the game winner. Pilato led all Greenville players with 24 passes last weekend, tied for the team high with 3 clearances.
And Pilato so far key man there to help out the transition offense of the Triumph. We look at their starting 11 presented by Bon Secours.
Yep, 3 changes for Greenville. Lachlan McLean, after his game winner last weekend, gets his first professional start up top. Carlos Gomez returns after a 1-game absence, and Abdi Mohamed back in after a slight injury at right back.
Just over a month ago, but it was 2 men up there that had a huge night against Fort Lauderdale CF. and we saw that 2-0 victory for Greenville over Fort Lauderdale. Morrell and Keegan really combining well on that night, and did it on the offensive end together, just enough to get the victory over a really tough battle with Fort Lauderdale in the club's debut.
And this was a fun game. Obviously, great goal there by Alex Morrell after the service from Aaron Walker. Fort Lauderdale won the passing accuracy battle in this game 80.7% to 71.4 and made nearly 90 more passes. And we've seen Mendez, Raggio, and Cardenas, who didn't start the last couple of games, back in tonight. And they started all in that first game as well. Here's the lineup. For Fort Lauderdale, 3 changes for them. Raggio, Mendez, and as I said, Cardenas, who all started that first game against Greenville. Back in the lineup, Ricky Lopez-Espin up top, looking to take the lead again, to regain the lead in the Golden Boot.
A much different team than we saw a few weeks ago here in USL League One. So now Fort Lauderdale CF trying to bounce back here today against Greenville. The United Soccer League All-47 Championship and League One clubs and its players stand together in support of diversity, inclusivity, equality, and compassion. And we're off and running here from Legacy Early College. This is exactly what Fort Lauderdale will do all night, build from the back and try to break down this Greenville Triumph attack. Again, I'm Chris McCovic alongside me, Ross Davenport. Happy to have you with us wherever you may be watching on ESPN Plus or in the upstate of South Carolina on CW62. Final match of this homestand for the Triumph. 3-0 at home so far to start. So important for that home record, and especially a short season like this one. The Triumph still at the top of the table, but now Darren Sawatsky, the Richmond Kickers, putting a little bit more pressure on them after their victory last night over New England 2. Same amount of matches played and 3 points behind at the 10-point line. Ball serviced in, and it is offside, so that would have went to the wayside anyway, but there is Lopez-Espin already targeted at the top of the formation.
Yeah, we saw an early foul on Eduardo Sosa. We'll get to our keys to the game in a minute, but Greenville needs to keep a very close eye on Mr. Sosa. Could well find his way into the Inter Miami lineup later this season, perhaps, and along with perhaps Ricky Lopez-Espin. Inter looking for some real help up top.
You saw his face for the first time. Our head official, Sergei Demienchuk. Familiar face to League One here in 2020. As there's McLean. He's at the top of the formation now for the first time to start a match, and it was really excellent off the bench. Ended up getting the game winner, but away from that really spurred a lot of the attack in that second half, and they're hoping that he and Keegan can work a great combo with Keegan's runs off of his hold-up play.
Yeah, the Greenville formation looked like a third change in as many halves for John Harkes, is listed as a 4-3-3. We'll see perhaps more of a 4-4-2 with Keegan just dropping off in that 10 role behind Lachlan McLean, Carlos Gomez on the right wing as we see to start things off, and Morrell on the left.
Here comes a good takeaway for Fort Lauderdale CF. Sosa down the other way, taken back, and a foul from behind, and it will be a free kick in favor of the Triumph as Brandon Fricke went down.
As we see, Harry Hawkins started at center back last week in the 3-back formation, replaces Evan Lee, as John Harkes perhaps looking to make some rotation changes with 3 games coming up in the next 8 days. Fort Lauderdale, coming off. This is their final match of 3 in 8 days. They'll get a week off after this one.
Yeah, very impressive recent run of form, to say the least, for Fort Lauderdale. Defeated Tormenta over in Statesboro, Georgia. And also took down the defending champions Wednesday night. 3-2 in that one. They did give up a penalty kick, but able to hold back Damos and North Texas for the 3-2 victory. Headed out and back to midfield. The key storylines tonight as well for Greenville. They do get Abdi Muhammad back. Had a great performance in his debut for the Triumph against this Fort Lauderdale side with 3 interceptions. Really spurred on a lot of those chances for the Greenville attack.
Yeah, his brother Omar Mohammed, second straight game not in the starting line. We talked to John Harkes about it earlier this week. Not an injury situation, just a coach's decision, trying to get him to work on his defensive transition a little more before we'll see him back. I'm sure we'll see plenty of mojo later this season, especially with this logjam of games coming up.
Fort Lauderdale trying to find some possession here. You notice the experienced former MLS player, Savando Carrasco, in the middle at the back as a defensive midfielder. He'll direct a lot of the traffic out there for the away side. Ball sent in and poked away just in time from Lopez Espin. Now Rosales, Ascona, through ball. Lopez Espin finding a few touches early on in this match. Was cleared out of play in time. Yes, it was. It's a throw-in for Fort Lauderdale. And we'll get to see for the first time a familiar face here at Legacy Early College. It's Sammy Gadiri.
Yep, Sammy Gadiri converted to left back this season. He was more of a winger or a center forward for Greenville last season. We talked to Jason Kreis about that move, and he said that he talked to Sammy and said, listen, the best way for you to get to the next level, i.e. the MLS, is going to be for you to play left back. He didn't see his future as a winger. Maybe even a USL Championship. I forgot, obviously, that's in there between League One and the MLS. But yeah, Gadiri's looked pretty comfortable and loves to get forward, obviously, down that left side with Ascona.
Bad clearance there by Mendez as Morel tries to pounce on it. Polak stepping up. Something brewing for the Triumph, maybe. Walker into the box. Morel there. The shot is saved in the end by Castanera right at the keeper.
Yeah, lovely ball in along the ground by Aaron Walker. Keegan laying it off to Morel. Perhaps should have done a little better. Perhaps could have got Castanera to work a little harder for that save. But Greenville has Alex Morel offside there. Looking good so far here.
Pilato and Walker in the middle, able to steal it back. Pilato, one of the Loudoun United players that John Harkes brought in along with Harry Hawkins. And that chance
Attention
going
fans,
to the wayside
as the soccer ball
here
comes
in
out
the
of
6th
bounds,
minute.
do not send it back in play. Please find a Triumph staff member nearby.
For Lauderdale,
and hand them the
tactically,
soccer
we
ball.
normally see them
Thank you.
in that 4-3-3 with a tight central midfield of Carrasco with Raggio and Sosa just ahead of him. They do like to go 4-4-2 occasionally with the press if they decide to do that. They did that quite a bit on Wednesday night against North Texas. The key for them will be where we see Ascona and Cardenas. They can tend to get caught up upfield a little at times. John Harkes thinks perhaps the transition might be where they'll be able to make some inroads into that Fort Lauderdale defense.
Lopez Espin working it wide. Cardenas is there, makes the turn towards the box. Still going, chipped in. And Muhammad, luckily the only man there. That would have been wide open on goal if Ascona could get there.
Yeah, Tyler Polak might have got away with a little bit of a shove in the back there.
Already we're seeing a physical battle as it leads to a corner kick. Francisco Raggio
Corner
getting
kick
set
for
to
Fort
take
Lauderdale.
it. Miami Beach native, former player with Weston FC, along, of course, with Inter Miami Academy. Whipped in by Raggio, near post, headed away easily by the Triumph.
And one thing Jason Kreis mentioned midweek was this club's real commitment to getting players from the local community. We've got a whistle on somebody perhaps down.
A really terrible situation here. A collision teammate to teammate here as they tried to track for the ball, and player down for Fort Lauderdale CF. We'll have to see confirmation on who that is. Went down in a heap and trying to get back in the action, and it is Sosa down. So we mentioned him in the open already, how key he's been to the really resurgent stretch for this Fort Lauderdale side. He and Ricky Lopez Espin have been a fantastic combo for this offense.
This would be a major early loss here for Fort Lauderdale. Sosa looks in some serious pain, took his sock off very quick. Top of the foot is not where you want to get stamped on. There's nothing there really to protect those bones. See if we can get another look at it here. Oof, yeah, just got stepped on.
Gadiri there, fortunately colliding with his teammate, as we saw in the Southern Culture Hospitality Group replay. 8 minutes on, something to certainly keep an eye on if he does come back out onto the field quickly.
Fort Lauderdale did get some help early on Wednesday by a couple of North Texas injuries, so perhaps this is luck sort of balancing itself out here. We'd love to see Sosa finish this off, though. He looks like he's walking okay.
That's kind of the big story with North Texas this season. They're really making mistakes on their own in the back, giving up some goals to Fort Lauderdale. That was the story. And also they gave up 2 goals in the back to New England 2 in their home match last week. But as you mentioned, 2 injuries early on. Almaguer, a key in the central midfield, and then the winger Benny Redsick, who has been proven to be one of the top talents, young talents to keep an eye on here in 2020. He had to leave early, so we'll see if they're able to play on Sunday, tomorrow, when they take on Union Omaha in a big match at Globe Life Park. Eduardo Sosa, as you can see, former Columbus crewman, played in the Venezuelan First Division for 5 years. Currently on the bench, and hopefully he can return. But for now, Fort Lauderdale down to 10 men here on the road. Tough time so far building from the back, but Lopez S-spin all the way, and a nice volley there from Jay to send it right back.
Yeah, you know, John Harks has told Dallas Jay to keep an eye on that ball over the top to Ricky Lopez Espin. He scored a great variety of goals this season. We've seen him score from halfway. We've seen a keeper kick it off his leg and go in, and we've seen some great finishes from outside the box as well.
Muhammad sending it to the left wing. Morrell gets there in time. Into the box. Rosales pokes it, and it's a corner kick for Greenville. It'll be our first PNC Corners for Kids corner kick here at Legacy Early College today.
PNC Corners for Kids, taken by your Greenville Triumph.
Quickly taken at that. Pollock sends it back in there, headed away at the near post. Lopez Espin getting the defensive stop there. Trying to right wing. Harry Hawkins there, but couldn't get to it in time.
I was about to say before they took that corner kick quickly, Fort Lauderdale has this sort of zonal defense on their corners with sort of 2 banks of 4 or 5, and I thought maybe John Harks might have some training ground stuff up his sleeve. Obviously, they scored off a training ground corner in that first game against Fort Lauderdale, catching Brian Rosales out a little bit.
Right back over to the Triumph. And with this Fort Lauderdale offense, really mainly keep an eye on Ricky Lopez Espin so far. He's taken 17 shots this season, leads the team. Next 2 players with shots up there in the total with 4. Sosa and Raggio. Here a chance, but cleared by Hawkins. So he has 13 shots more than the next player on his team. You can see why big body up there to target as they get a corner kick.
Well, that was a very dangerous opportunity for Fort Lauderdale there. Greenville gave it away in similar fashion as North Texas did on Wednesday night, and they almost were made to pay. Ricky Lopez Espin's first touch was a little heavy, and that allowed Hawkins to get in there, but there was almost a 4-on-2 break.
Pilato taking care of that one. Yadiri back on the attack. You mentioned him moving to left back for Fort Lauderdale, but he's been excellent on both sides of the ball. 6 created chances. He leads the team with 13 interceptions and second on the team in clearances with 15 in his 5 starts. Pausing the action as now Hawkins is down. Keep in mind, Evan Lee is on the bench today. We had the thought that that could be due to squad rotation entering their 3 matches in a week. This one being match number 1 as he's holding his right leg.
Both teams dealing with some early injuries. Not what you want to see as a coach. Harry Hawkins was brought in last week for that in the middle of that 3-man defense. He was a great ball playing center back. Not quite perhaps ready to go 90 minutes, so I'm sure we may see Evan Lee off the bench later in this game.
Yeah, and with that formation, the 3-back, John Harks telling us this week in our phone call that really it wasn't anything directly against Hawkins that he came off. He did get a yellow. Brandon Fricke had a yellow as well, but Hawkins was just the man to go when he wanted to bring on McLean, get a bit more in the offense and change that formation for the second half. Yeah,
he also, obviously, as you said, Chris, with the yellow, he didn't want to see Hawkins tire with his lack of fitness and perhaps get a second yellow, trying to prevent a goal or something like that, and see Greenville go down 1 man. So it was more of a tactical substitution than anything.
They're 14 minutes on. Bit of a moment for both sides to collect themselves as Hawkins is stretched out here already. Second player down with Sosa exiting the game and then coming back in after seeing the trainer for a few moments. Look at John Harks and his squad. Harks, the coach of the month to start off the League 2020 season, along with player of the month, Jay Keegan.
Hawkins walking off without a noticeable limp, so hopefully he can just run this one off and get back out there. It does mean that Greenville will be down to 3 at the back for the time being.
A good opportunity for Fort Lauderdale to take advantage.
Looks like Noah Pilato will drop back in there to send it back just for now.
Both these teams averaging 1.4 goals per game. That's tied for 3rd in the league early on. Given off. Good run by Gadiri opening up. Cross in. Over everyone, knocked down, but wasn't handled well by Cardenas.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Cardenas expected that ball to get all the way through to him. He looked almost surprised.
Rosales puts it back in, headed away. At least early on, it seems the trouble for Fort Lauderdale getting numbers in the box to receive these crosses. On multiple occasions, it's been really just Lopez Espin in there. Hawkins still stretching things out on the sideline. It's Carrasco, former LA Galaxy man.
See Greenville quite happy to sit back here and let Fort Lauderdale knock this around as Harry Hawkins returns.
Stopped by Greenville, and so far Fort Lauderdale tough time of breaking through that block. Through ball, McLean on the run, bodied off it. But out of play, and it's a throw-in in the final third for the Triumph.
It was a nice slide ball through to McLean. Modesto Mendez showing his physical attributes. Lachlan McLean is not a small man. Modesto leaned in there and did enough to knock it out for a throw right in front of the Pepsi fan zone.
Abdi Mohammed coming up to take it. Out of play, it's a corner kick for the Triumph. As Morel will jog over to take this one. And I think what really deserves some attention on this PNC Corners for Kids. Corner kick was the service by Morel on that McLean goal. Great finish, but the service when he moved over to that wing in the second half, really great from him.
Oh, Alex Morel is one of those guys, can play either wing, can also drop back into that 10 role. It's been a great pickup so far for Greenville.
Ball floated in. One back by Hawkins, and he'll circle it over to midfield with Pollock. Numbers ahead still for Greenville. Morel on top of this one against Gadiri. Morel, end line, puts it in, a dribbler, trying the back heel, and this will be cleared.
A good run from Morel. I'd like to have got that ball up in the air. There was 4 Greenville players behind the first man. Didn't quite get it over there. That ball's out for a throw-in.
Fort Lauderdale head coach Jason Kreis, of course, in attendance today, unlike the previous match, as taking a look at this chance.
It was actually pretty well defended by Sammy Gadiri. The only real option was Morel was for the nutmeg. She actually pulled off quite nicely. Another corner here, perhaps, yeah.
PNC Corners for Kids. Corner kick as McLean takes down the signage on the far side.
And say one thing about this Legacy Early College field, there's not much space between the
PNC Corners for Kids, taken by your Greenville
and the advertising hoardings. Luckily, we haven't seen anybody get injured yet.
Alex Morel back over the ball.
See Noah Pilato taking up an interesting position here. Yeah, that's exactly who he was looking for.
Pilato back over. Gomez deflected up, and they'll take another corner kick here.
Yeah, get some movement going in that box, force the Fort Lauderdale defenders to make a decision and perhaps jump out of their zonal marking. As you can see there, they have 5 back inside the 6-yard box.
Another PNC Corners for Kids, taken by your Greenville.
One player covering the short corner and 3 at the penalty spot. See Morel looking for the call here.
Pilato in that same area. Hawkins heads it over. A great look for the center back, but up and out of play.
As you said, Chris, great look for Harry Hawkins. Had to climb over a defender, but made good contact with it, just couldn't keep it down. Lovely service from Morel. Yeah, jumping over the much smaller Rosales. You can see the grimace on Harry's face. He wanted that one back. Now we see a bit of a press coming here from Greenville.
Hawkins a goal scored for Loudoun United last year. 13 goals in his time at Hofstra for his collegiate career. Greenville gets it right back. As I just mentioned, one key person back for Fort Lauderdale to face Greenville is Jason Chrysler head coach Darren Powell, the former San Antonio FC head coach who oversaw the previous match. Sosa whips that out of play. A wishful chance there from outside the box. Christ telling us that his thoughts on that first matchup between these two sides, he thought really it was more about the game management issues for Fort Lauderdale. He was very happy about how they were able to break down the Greenville defense and back line. And Christ said really it came down to they gave up a goal at the end of the first half and the start of the second half, and from any soccer fan's viewpoint, really tough spots to give it up in terms of momentum.
Now listen, as a coach, you start preparing your halftime speech, only 5 to 10 minutes before the half, and when you give up a goal right before that whistle, it changes your halftime speech entirely, and then of course, when you give up a goal right after halftime, it basically erases that halftime speech as well.
McLean looking for the cross, puts it in there, and Mendez helps it along. Another corner kick already for the Triumph, presented by PNC Corners for Kids.
Yeah, Greenville did a good job of breaking that. You see that 4-4-2 press now that Fort Lauderdale's throwing at the guys.
PNC Corners for Kids, taken by your Greenville
Triumph. Coming a little
Triumph.
wider this time, nice ball in, and Mendez had to be very careful not to whiff on that one. It's an awkward ball for him.
Morel once more. Pollock nearby at the top of the box. They'll just chip it in. Interesting look here, headed on. Still alive, no foul is called.
We're seeing John Harks pull out all the early corner tricks. That was I don't think I've ever seen a corner like that before. A little chip in towards the first player and a flick on. Clearly been working hard on it at training this week. Here's another look at it again. This time it was Keegan with the flick. Yeah, just a shove in the back there by Aaron Walker. Was never going to be the winner out of that duel.
It is worth mentioning that Fort Lauderdale has had trouble defensively on set pieces. Gave up the PK to North Texas, but also late in the match a goal on a free kick, and including another one against this Greenville Triumph side, a corner kick that bounced back out. Morel stepped up from the corner, whipped one in, and that was a Keegan goal, the second of the match in their win.
Yeah, one thing Jason Christ talked to us, I asked him about dealing with kids and what a difference is within coaching them versus adults, and he said the focus, keeping their focus for 90 minutes is really difficult, and that showed in that late goal against North Texas. Obviously it didn't end up hurting them as they won 3-2. We'll see how, again, a lot of these players played on Wednesday night. It was a tough physical match against North Texas. We'll see how the legs are later in the second half. Obviously with 5 substitutes at his disposal does help Jason Christ a little bit.
Mendez moving it on back to Castanera. Played last year a little bit close to the upstate with Atlanta United 2 in the USL Championship. Ascona working against Muhammad. Help coming from Gomez.
You see Aaron Walker coming to close down Sosa here. He had a little too much space.
Ball whipped in there, headed down. Morel able to knock it forward. And Keegan able to stay on his feet against the challenge from Raggio. We weren't sure if we would see Keegan or Gomez at the number 10 slot in the formation. Looks so far it is Keegan and McLean centrally with Gomez on the right wing. Here's Cardenas, Rosales, Sosa. Now tackled away by Pollock. Pollock, 11 clearances so far this season. 13 interceptions, he leads the team. Pilado can't get the stop, and a foul is called.
I think it may have been a handball as Cardenas fell. Very unlucky, he's looked very lively on this right side as Andres Cardenas. It's a lovely turn there to get past Pollock. Got back up to his feet very quickly, but just caught his arm there as he tried to get back up. That would have been a very dangerous ball in if he'd been allowed to get that one.
Since 1947, Select has been the leader in soccer ball quality and innovation. Select is the official ball supplier of USL League One and many of the elite leagues throughout Europe. For the latest Select products and special offers, please visit selectsportamerica.com. Harry Hawkins bringing that Select ball up the field. So we hit the 25th minute. So far, chances coming the way of Greenville. Not too much from Fort Lauderdale. Some nice crosses in there, but unable to connect on those. These two sides, two of the top teams in terms of shot on goal percentage. Greenville #1 right now in USL League One at 59%. Fort Lauderdale, meanwhile, 4th in the league as Greenville continues the attack with advantage played, and Walker whipping that out. And there's a goal kick.
It's almost a carbon copy of that Tyler Polak interception that they had. I think it was against Richmond, was it, Chris, when they went flying down that left wing and crossed it in for Jake Keegan.
Fort Lauderdale building from the back, and we're hearing that Greenville Triumph getting set to make a substitution. That has to do with one of those early injuries, I assume, as Evan Lee is getting set to come on momentarily.
Yep, Harry Hawkins must be feeling that knee injury a little more than we thought. He's going to have to make way. Perhaps we thought we might see this sub a little later.
Your attention, substitution for Greenville.
Harry Hawkins
in the 26th minute, entering the match.
Hasn't had much luck so far in his Greenville
Evan
career.
Lee. And leaving the match, number 2.
Didn't see how this injury happened. But clearly feeling it. And Evan Lee, obviously a very capable substitute, normally starting at the center back spot for John Harkes.
Yeah, Lee only not starting in one match last year for Greenville. He appeared in all matches as he comes on in our Spinks substitution. And you have to think as well, Hawkins went up for that header on the corner kick, may have felt something coming down as well. Tough to see for Harry Hawkins, and now Fort Lauderdale will see the center back combo that they did face earlier a few weeks ago. Excuse me, Lee only missed one match last season, playing 29 of the 30, including playoff competition. Free kick just like that for Fort Lauderdale CF. Carrasco over it. Castanera stepping up. One of the few non-Florida natives out of Landing, New Jersey.
She played college ball with Reese Williams of Tormenta at Columbia.
Free kick to Greenville. Castanera actually is celebrating his 25th birthday come Wednesday. A couple years with Long Island Rough Riders in USL League 2. Trip to the Eastern Conference Final in League 2 in 1 year. Here's Sosa. Breaking the other way so far. Greenville doing a good job holding back the number 10. Here's Morel looking, deflected up and out of play, and yet another corner kick for the Greenville Triumph.
Yeah, another quick counter by Greenville. Lauderdale got numbers back in the box quickly there. They had that 6 back there. It's only Greenville's 3 very quickly. That limited Morel's options. I'm sure they'll take the corner out of it.
Added to the list of PNC corners for kids already in this match. Greenville up to 5 corners taken. They're certainly getting the chances, now trying to poke one into the net here. The 28th ticking into the 29th minute.
See Jake Keegan in that, that little slot again. They're going to go over him this time, though.
Whips it in, knocked away by Lopez Espin once again at the near post. Polak getting reset through Pilato. Headed on, still alive. Fricky's there, so is McLean. Brought down off the post. Fricky gets it blocked.
Seemed like time sort of slowed down for a second there. The ball was bouncing and nobody really knew what to do with it. Take another look at it here in a second. It was a Lovely ball in by Abdi Mohammed. Flicked on by Gomez. Rosales with a good head in there. McLean just couldn't get a foot in it. Lovely coverage by Mendez really to wreck that McLean chance, and we'll have a goal kick here. Another half chance.
PNC Corners for Kids not paving way there. Here in the 30th minute, and Greenville, amazing. 6 corners already taken tonight. Putting the ball in a dangerous spot, and as we enter the hydration break, we've seen them do that already this season. They forced what were 2 own goals on the day against Richmond, putting the ball in dangerous spots. But, of course, 1 at the end of the day as Keegan got one of those back to his name of his 3 goals this season. John Harkes right there, as we had a MLS former player battle last night in League One. We have another one in front of us today. Harkes and, of course, Jason Kreis on the other side doing battle in their heyday. Harkes starting out his MLS career with DC United. Kreis with Dallas Burn, and then a major contributor, to say the least, with Real Salt Lake, also a head coach for RSL. Then, and both head coaches really great praise to say about each other, and Kreis even telling us that when they both got into coaching more, a lot of great conversations about the tactics around that and their coaching abilities. Harkes really getting going with the New York Red Bulls in the mid-2000s, and, of course, Kreis going from player straight to manager with RSL.
Yeah, one thing a lot of people have told us about John Harkes is that his door is always open, his phone always available for anybody that wants to pick his brain about coaching. Jason Kreis said he'd talk to him about it, not specifically before coming in to League One here, obviously in Fort Lauderdale's inaugural season, but John Harkes, giving back to the younger coaches, which is great to see.
Yeah, and John Harkes saying great things about Kreis as a player, just a pure goal scorer. And he said that during his time in MLS as a player, he really thought Kreis was one of the best volleyers out there, really could hit it from anywhere. And both are still friends and very connected in their professional careers. Today battling each other for the first time on the pitch.
Everybody clap your hands.
Harkes some last-minute instructions as we get back out onto the field here in the 32nd. Castanheira once again will build this from the back. McLean certainly getting the miles in today defensively as Pollock wins it straight back. Nice ball, but a little bit too far, offsides as well, so that will alone halt the attack.
One thing about Tyler Polak defensively, he always seems to make things look so easy, and part of that is just being in the right spot at the right time. So I think it was Ian Frey trying to bring it out the back, or perhaps Cardenas, and got a bit of a run and thought he saw that through ball, but there was Tyler Polak, as he always seems to be, just in the right spot to make the interception.
Lopez Espin trying to distribute, but it goes out of play.
Tyler Polak, just a very good reader of the game from that left back spot.
All-League first team a year ago. Is he in the back line of Greenville feeling the pressure there, but good service from Jay. This will be halted anyway.
So Morel perhaps coming back from an offside position.
.33rd minute. Good chances from Greenville so far, but still 0-0 on the score line. Big battle here from the standpoint of Fort Lauderdale. If they're able to get a win on the road today, they would be at that 10-point line along with the Richmond Kickers, just 3 points back of Greenville. And quite a week for the Triumph that we'll keep on talking about with you. 2 more matches for them before the week is over, so a real test of their depth here this season.
As you and I mentioned, Chris, throughout the season we looked at where the teams were after 16 games last year, and 4 losses would perhaps put you out of contention for the first 2 spots, we would think. Lauderdale got the 2 early losses, and they would really like to avoid another one here. I think they'd certainly walk away from this one with a point if they could, especially with 3 home games coming up, all spaced out a week apart. Obviously, Greenville still yet to suffer that first loss. We see 2 teams now with 3 losses, I think, in the standings, and 1 more could put all those out. So it's almost like a playoff series, these 16 games. You can afford 3 losses, but 4 might put you in real trouble.
Given right back there by Polak. Cardenas over to Souza. Lopez Espin open, fires, and just on wide for the goal kick.
Ricky Lopez Espin's eyes were as wide as plates there. He saw that shot. He's in that goal-scoring zone at the moment. You expect him to score from that. It was a poor giveaway here by Tyler Polak, who then sort of backed off Cardenas. Sosa eventually found Ricky Lopez Espin. Money would have been on him finding the target there, but just flashed past Dallas Jay's right post.
Early in the season, made 8 appearances last year for Lansing Ignite. Scored 3 goals for them. 2 of those goals were against the Greenville Triumph. So something about facing the Triumph certainly likens his goal-scoring taste. And we almost saw it once again there. And he is at the top of the Golden Boot race right now with 5 goals. And a big part of that has been the service he's gotten, just like Greg Hurst out there. That finishing touch is something certainly to be excited about for Jason Kreis. Emiliano Terzaghi of Richmond finding the back of the net again last night. Mentioned Greg Hurst, he found the back of the net today. That early afternoon match against Tormenta. And Jake Keegan, he's not one of goal-scoring prowess, but a hot start to the year, 3 goals. Hasn't scored in the most recent matches, but someone that certainly, if he's having a good day offensively, the entire Triumph unit is.
This is, we know, Greenville's penchants for 1-0 victories. He just needs to pop up at the right spot at the right time. Jake Keegan grab a late game winner.
Very versatile player as well. Clark's telling us that they were trying him out on the wing a little bit in practice this week. The 7 and 11 spots. He's worked really well as a number 10, dropping back a bit if they're able to find that number 9 that can hold up the ball for him and distribute. And McLean may be that if he has a successful day today. Something that J.J. Donnelly showed a little bit when he joined the Triumph late last year. He's on the bench today as Polak goes down, and it's a goal kick.
Yeah, for Lauderdale, having a bit of a tough time trying to break this Greenville back for the last 10-15 minutes or so. Ricky Lopez Espin, other than that recent chance, then he's been relatively quiet. Haven't seen much of Eduardo Sosa. John Hart's be happy, I think, so far after these first 36 minutes. Much happier than he was last weekend after the first half. There's no doubt about that. Greenville were just sort of out of sorts. There's players with poor touches, and John Hart's made that formation change at the halftime break, and that made a big difference. Alex Murrah, beautiful shoulder. And here goes Keegan.
Keegan down the left wing. Ball serviced in and cleared away. And will be a throw-in on the near side. The Southern Culture Hospitality Group replay. Look at that defense from the winger.
Yeah, one of those classic shoulder-to-shoulder contacts we don't see too often these days in the game. He's happy the referee allowed it to happen, and Morel got back up super quickly, get the counter going the other way.
Not sure if Castanero would love that decision from Mendez right back in a pack of blue kits, but he got it out of there to his credit. Went through on screen a couple of those results so far this week in USL League One, and really the one earlier today is a huge one to stand out. You mentioned, Ross, a lot of these teams trying to avoid their 4th loss of the season. That's where we really saw the drop-off in the first 16 games last year in League One. In comparison to this year's 16-game schedule. Tormenta coming back really from the death of the match. 2 goals in the last 15 minutes against Chattanooga to steal the points on the road at the Den.
And listen to the result last night with Richmond beating New England. Kept Richmond up there, obviously, with Greenville, but I think Greenville enjoyed that result earlier today. And a little space between them and Chattanooga. Offside again.
Offside again here in the 39th.
Crowd doesn't like it, and neither does Alex Morel.
Stay with us at halftime. We'll take a look at all the highlights from the matches so far this week, including earlier today when Tormenta and Chattanooga battled. It's the lone match in League One tonight. 2 more for you on ESPN Plus tomorrow as Madison OCB battle. And North Texas takes on Union Omaha, and you have to expect North Texas will try to get some revenge there after Omaha really took it to the defending champions at Warner Park a few weeks ago in a 1-0 victory for the Owls.
Listen, when you're at the top of the table, you want to see other teams tying, especially in this short 16-game season. Whenever there's only 2 points out there instead of 3, it's a victory if you're at the top of the table. So I'm sure Greenville will be keeping a close eye on those matches tomorrow.
No, and that's the funny thing for both these teams in front of us. If they were tuning in to that Tormenta-Chattanooga match earlier this afternoon, they probably loved that tying goal from Micheletto from the PK spot, but then that Meyer Galazzo from outside the box that will probably be goal of the week. Said enough before that.
Yeah, we saw Luca Meyer take a few cracks from outside the box against Greenville early this season. None were successful, but that was a laser.
And if you're the holding midfielder of Tormenta, Gomez, you get the assist there, just passing the ball off. So here, have a go. Get me some points in my stat column.
So there's a few guys in this league that sort of get their reputation of don't give them space outside the box. And Luca Meyer's started to creep up that chart, that ranking. And after the goal earlier today, you'll be sure that no team the rest of this season will be giving him that much space.
That's for sure. Something that John Harks actually wants to see from Aaron Walker, some chances from the outside. We saw a few goals from him last year from outside. As Fort Lauderdale gets back possession here in the 41st. 5 minutes left in this first half, and here's crunch time. This is where Greenville struck first against Fort Lauderdale last time and sent a message into the locker room. And we'll see if the away side could do something here. Souza, Cardenas.
Yeah, this Walker versus Sosa battle is going to be one to watch, especially coming down this way. Sosa is dangerous whenever he gets space, and Aaron Walker's going to have to track him back everywhere he goes.
Mendez forcing it out, and Greenville getting the throw in. Polak. Now Pilato. McLean just couldn't get there in time. Polak keeps it alive. Now Pilato. McLean cuts over. McLean fires it wide. A dribbler in the end, not getting all of that ball. Goal kick, Fort Lauderdale.
It looked like they'd lost possession, as you see Dylan Castanero imploring his team to clear that ball properly. Well, Lachlan McLean just couldn't really get the ball in the perfect position to shoot. It got away. The left-footed attempt in the end, but it was never going to trouble Castanero, really. As you see, once again, Greenville pressing these goal kicks. John Harks talked about how they like to build from the back through their keeper. Thought that was a spot they could exploit. And, well, here we go.
Mohamed Morel swarmed there by 3 white kits. They win it back.
Yeah, it was good work back by Raggio. More of an attacking midfielder helping out there. Team getting in a little trouble trying to work that transition from the keeper out of the back.
Tough slip there by Polak. Gets up for the throw-in. Jay. Other than that Lopez Espin chance that went wide, pretty quiet first half to this point. Had a tough start against Chattanooga last week. John Harks really told us that felt like the clean touches weren't there for a couple of players at the back that led to a lot of chances for the Red Wolves that first half. Jay and his unit kind of bunkering in at times, but looking solid early on against this Fort Lauderdale attack. Mendez, another stop out of play.
He's had an impressive first half, Modesto Mendez. Only his second start, first since that opening game against Greenville. Nice physical presence in the back. We had 2 17-year-olds paired together on Wednesday night for Fort Lauderdale. Ethan Hardin on the bench tonight. Perhaps see him later on.
Mendez, one of a number of Cuban players on this Fort Lauderdale side, really reflecting the local game here for the South Florida area. And a free kick for Greenville, and kind of cool for the local club, Inter Miami CF, and of course Fort Lauderdale CF. Jason Christ, the head coach of Fort Lauderdale, telling us that it's kind of a club mandate trying to grow the game here, and that's why there's so much South Florida influence. As Keegan goes down there on the Southern Culture Hospitality Group replay, throw in on the near side.
Obviously into Miami with their first official home match this evening. They start kicking off in about 10 minutes against Orlando City. And hopefully the South Florida community will support both of these sides once fans are allowed back in the games. It's a beautiful stadium down there. I was there on Wednesday and deserves to have some fans in there.
Fort Lauderdale will call that facility home for the foreseeable future. They are trying to make plans to build another stadium for Inter Miami CF, and the old Lockhart area, now Inter Miami CF Stadium. That'll end up being the training facility in the complex for Fort Lauderdale CF when they play. Ball sent in. Fricky once again heading it away. See if Morrell can save us one. No, he can't. Throw it in the final third for Fort Lauderdale, making some noise as we approach stoppage time here in the first half.
We haven't seen much of Edison Ascona with some time on the ball. We saw it there. He's very confident for a 16-year-old. Great ball skills. Nice service there.
Ladies and gentlemen, the fourth official has indicated 6 minutes of stoppage time.
Bunch of stoppage time to come, as you can see. 6 minutes of it presented by Warehouse Services, Inc. Sosa going through traffic. Great run there. Cardenas to the end line, kept it in play. Now Rosales deflected. Jay has to push that away. It's a corner kick for Fort Lauderdale here to end out the first half. It's going to be their third so far this evening.
Yeah, they're very dangerous when they get comfortable with possession in that final third. They can knock it around.
Corner kick
Sosa,
for Fort Lauderdale.
as we've seen, is capable with that killer pass. At any time, had to go wide, maybe a little wider than he would like to there to Cardenas, with Greenville pack in the middle.
Good look at the Triumph car that we saw out on the field so much last year. No rain right now in the area for it. Rosales put in there. Good look by Carrasco, but it's blocked in the end by Evan Lee. Now Keegan. A miss there. Could be 2v1. Morrell, Keegan. And knocked away by Frey. Good movement there on the 1v1 defending, and a throw in.
Yeah, just misjudged the bounce here. That was Francisco Raggio helping back. Perhaps if Jake Keegan had looked up and gone a little earlier, back to Morrell.
Credit to Gadiri, though. He covered that angle very well to prevent a pass back from Keegan to Morrell. Comes Fort Lauderdale once more.
See Eduardo Sosa with a little feint. He's just got that little bit of class.
Rosales. Muhammad eyeing it. He pokes it away. Sosa right there.
This game really opening up here in the final 5 minutes or so.
Rosales puts it in. Lee getting a nice touch there. Lopez Espin would have been there for the strike.
Evan Lee's come off the bench nicely here and made some key interceptions and clearances. This is one you don't want things to get loose against Fort Lauderdale. That's one thing you definitely don't want to do. They've got that front six. They'll really punish you if you get loose. Don't see it happen too often with Greenville, but it hasn't happened here in the last 3 or 4 minutes.
Dallas J not taking any risks here. Was going to play out of the back, but then pushed everyone forward. With the pressure coming up from Fort Lauderdale that they've instituted as this half has gone on. Some contact on that. Carrasco in there.
Not sure which way it's going. Referee looks perhaps Fort Lauderdale's way. There's some yells of handball from the crowd on the Greenville bench, but we're going to have a drop ball.
I think he thought there was a head injury, but instead just some light contact. And I think it was teammate on teammate as well. Either way, we're starting from the back with Fort Lauderdale.
I think it's been a pretty even first half. You wouldn't know looking at the possession stats. Lauderdale with 63.5%, but obviously most of that possession back in their own half, as Greenville hasn't particularly been pressing, except on occasion on the goal kicks. No shots on target for Fort Lauderdale, just the one for Greenville.
Gomez keeps it alive. Walker couldn't get there in time. Pilato, a nice challenge. Won it back briefly. He'll get it back again. Gonzalez. Souza, nice turn around Pilato. Playing a bit hold up as the number 10. Cardenas cuts back to his left, gives it off. Trying to clear, and indeed it is Polak that gets there.
Bit more good work from Evan Lee there. Ascona coming across looking for the right-footed shot, but Lee got his body in there and did enough to knock Ascona off his balance.
Polak trying to lead the charge the other way. 3 forwards ahead of him. Keegan lets it on to Morrell. Nice run by Keegan, laid off to him. Brought down, out of play, it's a corner kick.
Once again, Tyler Polak, the spark for the counterattack. Smartly moved it over to the left-hand side. As you see right here, Keegan let it go nicely to Morrell. Pass was just a split second too late, and that allowed 17-year-old Ian Frey to come over and make a good, solid tackle, similar to the one that injured Benny Redzik on Wednesday night. Ian Frey is a big frame for a 17-year-old.
Another corner kick for the Triumph.
He's not afraid to throw that frame around either.
PNC Corners for Kids corner kick. Make it number 8. Whipped in, headed from the near post, back over Muhammad into the side netting. And another corner kick.
It's apparently deflected. You heard the crowd react as they thought the ball had perhaps hit the back of the net.
Jumbled mess there. Out of play.
Good to see Audi Mohammed getting solid position in the box there after that corner. It was a nice strike, but just wide, deflected, and let's take another look at the corner. Greenville does love these deep corners. This was the flicked one. I think it actually flicked off a Fort Lauderdale player. Well controlled by Mohammed.
At the end of the first half,
you could see his heads go to his hand as that one, but perhaps was going on target if it wasn't deflected.
Oh, there's the halftime whistle. 0-0 still on the scoreboard. A solid first half for both sides, creating some chances. But they'll look to break through when we hit the second 45. Stay with us as we begin our Oxford Barber Company halftime report. We'll take you through the results so far this week in USL League One, along with other news and notes from around League One. High-profile match here in our weekend of League One action. Fort Lauderdale trying to get up to second place along with the Richmond Kickers. Let's see if they can get it done in the second half against league leaders. Greenville Triumph 0-0 at the break. We'll be back shortly with more League One action. this week in USL League One. Let's take a look through them, Ross. We begin on Tuesday where FC Tucson finally their offense clicking and getting some goals in the back of the net.
Yeah, this was a big win for Tucson, not just in the fact that they scored 4 goals, but they lost 3 in a row coming into this one and really needed this victory to perhaps give themselves an outside chance of making the top 2.
Shaq Adams with really what could be a player of the week performance with a goal and 2 assists. Liotti also with a brace on the day. And now Tucson back up the table, feeling a bit better after their road trip. First loss to Richmond. They go down to Orlando and get things done 4-1 this week to end that losing skid. On to Wednesday, 2 matchups. First off, a Midwest battle, something that could be a derby in the future, but the first matchup between the Owls and the Flamingos began with Eric Leonard finding the back of the net, and Madison 5 goals in their last 2 matches.
Trying to look a little better. They really couldn't afford the loss there. This ends up being a nice little draw on the road, I think, for the boys from Madison.
Now, it's been the week of the PK, and in 4 of our 5 matches this week, we've had a penalty kick attempt awarded. Right here, Contreras converting, and for Omaha, maybe wanting a little bit more here at home in this match. They get a point out of it. They're at 8 points on the table at this point in the season. And then the other matchup that happened on Wednesday, we talked about a bit of this already today in our broadcast, but Souza and Ricky Lopez-Espin, 2 names really to know this season in League One.
Listen, you can't give that man Lopez-Espin any amount of space in the box, and this man right here is a wizard with the ball. Lovely set up here for Lopez-Espin for his 2nd goal of the night.
Yeah, and for Fort Lauderdale, really, Sosa able to get 3 assists in his 3 matches played already. And here's some history for you, Ross, as Valencia becomes the youngest player in USL history to notch a goal.
You didn't see the celebration there, but what you could really tell is just how much that meant to that guy and the rest of his teammates for a 15-year-old to get on the board, and yeah, they ended up with a win.
In North Texas, once again, kind of unable to overcome their own mistakes in that match, and they lose one on the road 3-2. Here, Marcelo Santos has to take over as Clint P.A. unavailable to coach the Revs 2 side in the matchup last night, and Richmond took advantage here to start the second half.
Well, this man right here, Emiliano Terzaghi, looking like the pickup of the season so far. Nobody really knew much about him coming in, but he's been an immense presence so far for the Kickers.
We've seen glimpses of Revs 2 looking excellent on the ball. There was one equalizing there in the match. 4 goals in their last 2, but yet still to find a win. Brilliant service by Antley, and Kraft puts it in at Gillette Stadium. And Richmond putting some pressure on Greenville for the matchup next week.
That's going to be a really fun one, Chris. I know you get to call that, so that should be really exciting for you.
Chattanooga and Tormenta started our day, 1 p.m. Eastern time start. Good to see John Milracy back out there after he was unable to be part of the trip over to Madison. And really, these wingers for Chattanooga serving up great balls all season for Greg Hurst.
Yeah, like Tucson, Tormenta came into this game with 3 straight losses, and it didn't look good early, but things really changed towards the end of this game.
Tormenta in the clutch, to say the least. It was Stephen Beattie that was able to make his debut here in 2020 after an injury at the end of 2019. Great opportunity here, but Pablo Jara doing what he does once again.
Yeah, it is great to see Beattie on the field, but unfortunately once he came on, things went downhill for Chattanooga.
And Tormenta taking care of their opportunities that they were awarded. Micheletto, a nice PK to squeeze that in there, and a really feel-good moment. And this is the type of moment that maybe could be a turning point for them this season after a really rough start, as it was Meyer that ended up putting in what was the game-winning goal.
Listen, you and I have seen Luca Meyer do that. He hadn't put them on target, but we've seen what he can do from distance, and that was a great game winner.
Unfortunately, a late red card for one of the young products of Tormenta's organization, as Deloach will be unavailable for their next match. So that's the action so far here, USL League One to this point. 2 matches coming up tomorrow and a second 45 to come. And of course, we'll check out more action from around the USL coming up shortly. Here's a look at the USL Championship.
The USL is proud to bring professional soccer back into our communities and across the ESPN family of networks. Follow your local club and don't miss these exciting matches coming up on ESPN2 or ESPN Deportes.
Soccer Champus, the U.S. Soccer has recently instituted the Play On campaign. Try and explain what this looks like in the grassroots communities around the country all the way to the professional level.
Yeah, Mike, I think it starts first and foremost with each of our stakeholders, whether you're a club, a coach, a parent, a player. It starts with setting a tone. It starts with setting a culture, and really setting realistic expectations, understanding that COVID is a virus is going to be with us for an unknown amount of time. The guidelines are very basic and fundamental. What Play On has really created is a single voice and something that all of us can point to as a safe and responsible way that our kids can develop, continue to play the sport, can come together in a very responsible way under the guidance of local, state, and national guidelines that really can be one that highlights our sport across the country and in the world. And Play On has demonstrated, I think, over the last 2 months, a very consistent message, and that hasn't changed.
Dr. George Champus, Chief Medical Officer for U.S. Soccer, thank you for not only your time now, but also the work you and healthcare heroes around the country have done over the past months.
News and notes from around USL League One. Really the rematch weekend overall. 3 of them, and including one tomorrow as the Owls and North Texas do battle.
Yeah, it's always interesting to see teams playing each other for a second time and seeing what tweaks each coach makes tactically.
Player of the Week honors going to Don Smart, a goal and 2 assists in the 4-0 victory over Tormenta for Madison last week. Dallas J up there in between the pipes in our Team of the Week, along with our Player of the Week, Don Smart.
Yeah, also good to see Lachlan McLean there after his first professional goal.
And McLean getting that winner last week over Chattanooga. Here are the scoreboard so far this week. Richmond Kickers just 3 points behind Greenville with their 2-1 victory last night at Gillette Stadium.
Yeah, Richmond gave Greenville a real good match in that 3-2 defeat. Yeah, climbing up the standings.
Looking at our standings now, as you can see, Richmond 3 points back. Greenville getting the victory over Richmond. That's the 3-point gap. But Omaha, Fort Lauderdale, and now Tormenta as well, putting some pressure on the team at the top. Looking at our schedule ahead, 2 matches on ESPN Plus for you tomorrow. Madison, OCB, North Texas, Omaha, Greenville. Quick turnaround facing New England 2.
Yeah, and looking forward to that North Texas-Omaha matchup on Sunday. North Texas starting to get a little desperate now, the defending champs.
When we return to our Oxford Barber Company halftime report, highlights and stats here from Legacy Early College.
We offer a full array of dental treatment, and what that provides you as a patient is you're able to come to one place and get comprehensive care under one roof.
I've always been greeted with a smile. They know me when I call. I trust them.
We'd love to see you at Wood Creek Dental. Visit us at woodcreekdental.com.
What's Greenville's best kept secret for auto loans? Greenville Heritage Federal Credit Union. If you're on the market for a new car, visit Greenville Heritage before you start shopping to get pre-approved and save yourself a lot of hassle and a whole lot of money. Or refinance your current car loan for a better interest rate. It's a simple process that could save you hundreds of dollars. Visit greenvilleheritage.com to find the branch nearest you and start saving money. Federally insured by the NCUA.
Welcome back as we finish off our Oxford Barber Company halftime report, getting set for highlights from our first half. 0-0 at the break between Greenville Triumph SC and Fort Lauderdale CF. Plenty of chances, Ross, not a ton of shots on target, to say the least, as we get started with the opening whistle. And Fort Lauderdale actually looked pretty good early on. Greenville as well, of course, with a few chances here from outside the box.
Yeah, only the one shot on target from Greenville, but both teams have been playing very good scramble defense. That was probably one of the best chances of the game so far there. Alex Morel snatched that a little bit with his right foot, perhaps could have gone a little further to his left, and because Cardenas left that his right-hand post a little open. Plenty of corners for Greenville. That's Harry Hawkins, unfortunately departed with an injury. Solid header here, but just over the bar.
Opportunities would continue for Greenville. They ended up with 8 shots on the board. A bit of chaos as well inside the box.
Yeah, we've seen Greenville score from these situations. That one almost went in just off the post.
Ricky really wanted a goal there. He scored twice with Lansing last year. Unable to find it, though. Still some good defense at the last second and a couple plays for Fort Lauderdale in the first half. And they would see some great action from balls over the top.
Yeah, rare mistake here from Tyler Polak. This was probably, I think, Fort Lauderdale's best chance. Ricky Lopez-Espin with a right-footed screamer just past Dallas Jay's post.
Yeah, that was probably the best chance of the match so far for Fort Lauderdale, but Lopez-Espin unable to find the back of the net. Greenville almost striking as well just before the half.
Yeah, nice through ball here for Palado. Lachlan McLean sort of got it caught under his feet a little bit, scooped it wide with the left foot.
Not phasing Castanheira, really. Those highlights presented by Greenfield's Bagels and Deli. As we look at the stats from that first half, chances for either side. Greenville, though, the accuracy department trying to get more on target. They did hit the post once, though.
Yeah, we may see some tired legs from Fort Lauderdale in the second half. It'll be interesting to see when each team uses their subs. Again, Greenville, this is their first of 3 games in 8 days. They may wait a little bit to use some of these subs. Fort Lauderdale might have to be forced to use them a little earlier. We'll see if they make a difference here in the final 45.
At Greenville, we saw a complete turnaround against Chattanooga, like a different team in the second 45 here. Looked pretty good in the first half, just trying to find those finishing touches inside the box. We'll see if they can bring it out here. They did get a goal to start things in the second half against Fort Lauderdale in the first matchup via a set piece. The Blue Kid today, let's see if they can do the same against that same side. Keegan over the ball at midfield as we get set to go here at Legacy Early College. And fans in attendance able to be there in a limited capacity up to 2,000. Sergey Dimianchuk, whistle blows, and we're off here for the second 45. McLean on the run against Kadiri. He wins the ball briefly, but a throw-in now for Fort Lauderdale.
So Lachlan McLean lined up on the right wing to start things off. We thought we might see something off the training ground. That's exactly what we saw. Aaron Walker with the deep ball.
Again, I'm Chris Bukovic alongside me, Ross Davenport. Happy to have you with us for some League One action on this Saturday night. The only match tonight in League One. 2 more coming up tomorrow to finish off the league weekend. Here's Muhammad off of the pass from Gomez. This goes out, though, and it's a goal kick. Sticks on the line in this match. Fort Lauderdale a win, and they're tied for second with Richmond at 10 points. That would continue their current unbeaten streak of 3 matches, 2 wins recently in that stretch. And for Greenville, of course, top of the table. Richmond at 10 points, just 3 points behind them, trying to get that extra little oomph in their lead. They would be up to 6 points for that lead on top of the table with a win here tonight. Lee did come on in that first half for the injured Harry Hawkins. 1 sub already used for Greenville.
One thing that'll be interesting to keep an eye on is if the longer this game remains tied is how much Fort Lauderdale will start perhaps sitting back a little more. They'd certainly take a point out of this game against the league leaders. They also don't want to throw too many bodies forward there and risk that 3rd loss on the season. We got some kind of issue here.
He was getting set to take the kick, and
we might have some, I don't know what's going on here. Somebody down apparently, maybe out of screen here.
Seems someone is down for on the near side here.
Oh, are you back?
It's like
was Abdi Muhammad. Just working his way back from injury.
I think if I remember, it was a foot injury, and it looks like Abdi Muhammad might be done for the day. He's walking off like he's had enough. Not good to see. Perhaps we do have Cesar Murillo on the bench. Mohammed, perhaps with a slight limp, clearly hurt his foot early here in the second half, and looks like we'll see a quick change again in this half at the back. He'll be down a man for now.
You have to assume it will be Cesar Murillo, who has been pretty strong from that wingback spot with Abdi Muhammad out of late. McClain now trying to keep the numbers ahead. For now, Greenville is down to 10 men on the field here in the 48th. There's Gomez.
Yeah, Gomez dropping back now just to fill in at right back until they can make that substitution. Not sure if Cesar Murillo was warming up much at halftime. You have to assume so.
If there's a time for Fort Lauderdale to press, it's certainly now.
It's not a good sign. Listen, Greenville doesn't have the biggest roster in USL League One, now potentially down two defenders. And they are pretty blessed with guys that can play in multiple positions. Trevor Schwartz also capable of playing at left back, and perhaps with Tyler Polak moving over to the center if needed.
Morel. Headed away inside the box. Now Walker trying to keep the attack going. Here's Morel working against Rosales. Couldn't get through the defenders, but it'll win it right back on the deflection. Turns it over, and Keegan can't get there in time as Kona clears.
I think everybody was surprised that Alex Morel got the ball back, including Jake Keegan, who perhaps got his run started a little late. Now we'll have the substitution, it seems, before this free kick, where we might see perhaps Aaron Walker take
Your attention, in the 50th minute.
So for the Spinks substitution, it is Murillo on for Abdi Muhammad, but the technicality of this comes within that 5 substitutions in 3 stoppages rule. Greenville already stopped the match once for a sub in the first half. They stop it again here in the 50th minute. So if they are going to make more substitutions in this match, it would all have to come at once. 3 subs, 2 subs, 1 sub, whatever it is in that final stoppage of play for a substitution opportunity. Fort Lauderdale, meanwhile, yet to use a sub in this match. Greenville, unfortunately, having to use 2 on 2 defenders.
One thing this is certainly going to do is delay any substitution now from John Harkes. He's not going to want to make one until he really has to.
Walker whips it in there, handled well by Castanera at that left post.
Yeah, it was dipping right in front of Castanera. That's one of those ones that can sometimes bounce right off your chest to an opposition player, but Dylan did well there.
Polak all over the ball in the first half. Right back on it here, trying to work the give and go, deflected ahead. And the Nebraska native able to stay on top of it as Raggio sends it the other way. There's Fricky stepping up, almost had a goal on the doorstep, as we saw in our first half highlights. There's Gomez. He's been at the right wing so far today.
Tyler Polak is such a pest. He doesn't leave you alone even when you think you've won back possession, or you think you've got him cornered. And he's just to wriggle out of it. Sosa with some space.
Eduardo Souza gets his pass deflected, almost found Lopez Espin wide open. He may find him again here. Lopez Espin on the run, but a bit too far for him. He'll look for the cross. Lays it off as Kona gets it blocked by Murillo. Raggio sends it up and over.
What a last-ditch slide by Cesar Murillo, only on the pitch for a couple of minutes and called into some serious action here as Evan Lee tried to shrug Sosa off the ball, but that low center of gravity helped him out there. Found Espin Lopez a little wide, had to wait for his help. It was a nice cut-back pass, and Ascona with the attempt, but Murillo with the last gasp stop and just fired over there by Raggio.
Las Vegas takes center stage August 25th when Lights FC takes on Orange County SC on ESPN Deportes. Looking to maintain the pace set in Group B, both Las Vegas Lights FC and Orange County SC face a must-win on the national stage. Don't miss the drama unfold August 25th at 10 p.m. on ESPN Deportes. Of course, a Tuesday night matchup in USL Championship. As we will have a substitution here for Fort Lauderdale CF, and it will be Blaine Ferry that
Your attention,
comes on
substitution for Fort Lauderdale.
A straight switch
entering
in
the
that
match,
attacking midfield.
number 8,
Ferry, a
Blaine
regular in the
Ferry.
starting 11 so far this season with 5 created
number 19,
chances.
Francisco Reggio.
You'll see perhaps
in the 53rd minute.
where Ferry ends up slotting in. Sosa spent most of the time on the right, both in front of Carrasco. But we saw Ferry on the right side of center mid in the last 2 games. We may see Sosa move over a little more to the left. It looks like that's where he's going to slot in. He's going to pressure now in the 4-4-2.
Fricky stuck there for a moment, and Jason Christ certainly bringing the press with those defensive changes coming for the triumph. Now Jay floating this over the top. Stepping up was Mendez. He's had a solid match so far. Out of play, and a throw in on the far side. Keep in mind, 2 second-half goals in these last 2 home matches for Greenville, getting the 3 points. One's for the late dramatic finish. Of course, McLean's goal against Chattanooga a little bit sooner than Donnelly's, which came in stoppage time, courtesy of an assist from McLean, and of course the service in from Murillo. That win over Tormenta a bit ago.
Speaking of goals, Inter Miami have taken a 1-0 lead in their first home match in team history. Julian Carranza, 12th minute goal.
Fort Lauderdale looking to match that here on the run, but Fricky gets over and makes the stop. Gonzalez on that right side. He'll take the throw in. Native of Cuba. Played with the Cuba Youth National teams, including at 2015 U20 CONCACAF Championships. You see it right there. Speaks to this Greenville defense so far this year. Greenville not trailing so far in 2020. Service in on the cross. Again, Fricky coming to the rescue. It's a throw-in the final third for Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah, Lauderdale pushing some numbers into the final third there. You can see where Sammy Kadir, the left back, is. Pinched in about 30 yards out here.
Fort Lauderdale happy they'll have their next 3 matches at home, seeing Chattanooga, Orlando, and Tormenta. Now Gadiri. Ascona met by Walker.
And going back to the substitution thing, you have to perhaps think that John Harkes might have a little bit of chess match going on here. We'll have to see what the next Fort Lauderdale substitution will be. That could tell us a lot about how Jason Christ wants to feel about the remaining 35 minutes or so in this game. Is he going to try and throw everything out and try and perhaps get the win, or will he be happy perhaps with the draw and make a defensive substitution?
Throw in on the near side for the Greenville Triumph as Murillo takes it, slotting in at that right back spot. So far this season, Fort Lauderdale actually leading the league in minutes led to this point. Had that 2-0 win over Tormenta. It's going to be 2-1 win. Late goal by Mikey Rowe in that one. Here's Carrasco. Fort Lauderdale seeing some more possession. Gomez losing Gadiri. Gadiri at the end line puts it over. No one there.
Yeah, Fort Lauderdale settling in nicely here in this final third. That's going to be a free kick, though. Greenville's way. Lovely overlapping run by Gadiri. Cross was just a little long. Take another look at it here. We saw them do that numerous times on Wednesday, him and Ascona. Ascona was pinching in a little bit more on that previous possession. As Sosa with just the grab around the shoulder on Morel.
Jay will have the free kick here in the 58th. Like Polak does on the left wing, getting up the field, fueling the offense. Abdi Muhammad does the same. So now it looks like Greenville trying to generate some energy in their offense here for the fans. They're at Legacy Early College. McLean, good hold-up play there by the Australian striker. Gets it back for the triumph.
Yeah, Lachlan McLean very comfortable with his back to goal, as John Hark said to us earlier in the week. We haven't seen a whole lot of him doing that, though, so far tonight.
Walker, good challenge, but it goes out of play. Throw in for Fort Lauderdale.
Only the 14 touches so far for Lachlan McLean in this one. Compare that to Tyler Polak's 52. I'm sure John Harks would like to see that number up a little higher for the Australian. Ooh, Tyler Polak. Yeah, referee's going to bring that one back. Tyler Polak with some venom in that tackle. Yeah, referee's going to have a word with him.
Jimmy and Chuck, they're waiting to see if there was an advantage played here. We'll see it on the Southern Culture Hospitality Group replay.
Tyler Polak lucky to not get away with the card there. I think if Cardenas had perhaps hit the ground. It's been well refereed so far, though, this contest.
We saw one red and quite a few cards at CHI Memorial Stadium earlier this afternoon. Out of play, and Frey unable to recover there on the miscue. Greenville trying to work quickly.
I think we got two balls on the see Cesar Murillo's frustration. I think there was a second ball was still on the field. Stopped him taking that one quick.
Moving up the sideline quickly once again, as Murillo will jog over and take it. Had an interesting discussion with John Harks regarding the fans. He actually said he felt it was kind of the opposite, at least in the early stages against Chattanooga. He thought kind of having fans there giving his players some nerves, as you know anyone would, being watched out there on the stage and getting used to it again. And he said he and the staff mentally training his players to get used to not having fans. So it took an adjustment, but said definitely that allowed some energy to fuel his side as the match went on, as it does tonight. Castanera from the back.
Fortunately, Inter Miami's lead was relatively short-lived. Orlando City have equalized down in Fort Lauderdale.
Taking you through some of the results here in USL League One earlier today. Tormenta getting a key 3 points after a really tough stretch for them. 3 losses in the last few weeks. I mentioned already Fort Lauderdale, big win on Wednesday. Aligned them up for a potential second-place finish at the end of tonight. Omaha and Madison, maybe the start of a derby in future years, their first matchup. But really the big winners on Tuesday, Tucson, 4 goals in the first half. And the funny thing is, they scored all 4 of their previous goals in the final 15 minutes of matches to this point. Their offense came out firing in the first 45 over in Kissimmee, Florida. Here comes Fort Lauderdale, Souza. Dribbles it on through. Lopez Espin puts it wide.
A big sigh of relief from the Greenville players. That Ricky Lopez Espin with an uncharacteristic miss of late, and the fact that he was offside.
Again, just wide left for the striker here tonight.
Man, him and Sosa are really on the same page. He was just a good yard, though, offside. Dallas J was out quickly to make Ricky Lopez Espin think twice about where he was going to put that shot.
So we just saw it up there. 2 matchups tomorrow, Ross, in USL League One. We have Madison, OCB, North Texas, and Omaha, our 3rd rematch of the week here in League One. What's kind of, which one are you kind of feeling as we enter tomorrow?
Oh, there's no doubt that North Texas, North Texas, they're really on the brink of elimination almost. They can't really afford to have too many more losses. Omaha obviously haven't had a loss themselves. And North Texas now with just 1 win, 2 losses, 2 ties, just the 5 points from their 5 games. Another loss there.
Substitution for Fort
really
Lauderdale.
Almost out of contention.
Number 20
for Fort Lauderdale. And here is that first sub. So
Young. And leaving the match, number 2, Brian Rosales.
It's Felipe Valencia, the youngest
also
scorer in USL history.
Number 28, Felipe Valencia.
Yeah, great goal he had on Wednesday against North Texas, putting him into the record books, as Christian Lou Young will also come on for Fort Lauderdale. Valencia was on that right wing in the match on Wednesday as he comes in for Cardenas. A stretch switch at that spot.
Yeah, two pretty much like-for-like subs. Doesn't really tell us a whole lot about Jason Kreis's goals here in the final 28 minutes, but Valencia very sprightly down that right wing on Wednesday night. Obviously scored the third goal, which ended up being the game winner against North Texas.
And you just mentioned the defending champions, and so much focus on their offense last year. Some credit, but not nearly deservingly enough credit given to their defense with Breck Evans and other players like Colin Montgomery at the back. And this season, unfortunately, a lot of miscues at the back for North Texas, what they're trying to shore up, and surely that offense is there if they're able to fix those defensive miscues as we head forward, and especially tomorrow against Union Omaha at Globe Life Park.
Yeah, that narrow, that tight field certainly won't favor North Texas.
Out of play, and it's a throw-in for Fort Lauderdale, and that was a problem at Warner Park, home of Union Omaha. Really stymied their attack until late in the match when they had a few chances, almost tying it up late. There's Souza, back out wide here in the 64th.
One thing North Texas last year, they obviously had that nice big pitch they were playing on. Everything they play on this season is going to feel a little tighter. Ronaldo Damas and David Rodriguez are going to start feeling the weight of this season at them. If things continue, this is how they've been going for North Texas. Need to pick up some wins quickly.
There's Jay from the back. And certainly, as we mentioned before, a couple potential injuries for North Texas we'll have to keep an eye out for tomorrow. Also adding to the tough climb up the hill, trying to get the result against Union Omaha. And a bit of revenge there in North Texas. Fort Lauderdale, Blaine Ferry.
Goals flying in at Inter Miami Stadium. Julian Carranza again puts Inter Miami up 2-1, so could do with a few of those here, guys.
Deflected there, good pressure from Lopez Espin, out of play. It's a throw-in. Players really, the play really slowing down here as we tick deeper into this second half. Lee taking the throw-in. Foul called in favor of Greenville. As Aaron Walker jogs up the pitch. The two captains for the team, along with Tyler Pollock. McLean stays with a good touch there. Through ball ahead. Gomez on the run. A little bit too heavy of a touch. He does win the corner kick, though. Good awareness there by the midfielder as Greenville gets the opportunity on the PNC corners for kids.
Yeah, good work there. Lachlan McLean back to goal. And then looked up. Lovely through ball to Gomez. Yeah, that first touch, Chris, just took him a little bit away from goal.
Corners for kids, taken by your Greenville Triumph.
Alex Morel over the ball. Scored in the second half their last two matches to win the match. Can they find one here? Morel. Headed back over, floats down, Pilato! Oh, what a strike! Oh. Noah Pilato puts Greenville on top with a beautiful finish.
Well, Luca Meyer, you've got a contestant for, or some competitor, I should say, for goal of the week. What a strike by Noah Pilato. We talked about him pregame, how much he's had an impact on this team since coming in the offseason. Let's take another look at this goal. It was a nice corner in by Morel. Greenville do love these back post corners. Flick back across. You can't do much better than that. I mean, you saw Ricky Lopez Espin just put his hands up and say, what can I do? I was in front of it, but what an amazing strike. Keeper didn't even move.
Noah Pilato getting his first goal as a Triumph player, and what a memorable goal it will be. presented by Pilato and Murph. It's the Triumph on top, and maybe finding one more. Put over and a save by Castanera. Now that gave the Triumph some energy. Here they come.
Jake Keegan, if he just looked up there, Lachlan McLean was wide open on the right-hand side. But back to another Pilato goal. This match has sort of led itself to whether it was going to be decided by a moment of pure genius or a mistake, just as tight as it's been. And Noah Pilato with the outside of the right foot. They don't come any sweeter than that.
No, it's tough for Fort Lauderdale as well. Another goal given up on a set piece. As Gadiri puts this in, deflected out. It's a goal kick. And at that, it's similar to that goal in the second half Greenville scored against them, where it's a corner kick and maybe set there for the header back in to create some havoc. But at the end of the day, it's the second opportunity on that set piece that gets put in. In the 69th minute, it's Greenville with the 3 points if the score stays. Of course, a ton of time left, 22 minutes plus stoppage time as Jay stands over this one.
When the ball came off the head of Cesar Maria, it didn't look like it was going to go into a particularly dangerous position. You'd like to see that ball kind of get headed back across into the mixer inside the 6-yard box, but Noah Pilato, wow.
There you see it. Greenville, one of 2 teams left undefeated so far in League One, the other being Union Omaha. Won every match when they score first. The only match they did not get 3 points in, that 0-0 draw in Wauwatosa, Wisconsin against forward Madison. Back on the attack they come. Fort Lauderdale no wins this season. On that mark, opportunity firing. Castanera knocks it back, and Mendez putting it out of touch safely for a corner kick.
I thought Pilato was going to have another crack, but instead laid it off to Jake Keegan, who put it at a nice height for Dylan Castanera. Perhaps could have gone lower. It was at a comfortable height for him. I thought Pilato was going to have another crack there, but it was closed down nicely, which opened up Keegan. Good solid strike, but right at Castanera.
It'll be another corner kick coming for the Triumph.
PNC Corners for Kids, taken
presented
by
PNC
Greenville
Corners
Triumph.
for Kids. As it will be Morrell once more to begin the set piece. 11 corners now for Greenville in this match. Put in, headed away. Good coverage there by Fort Lauderdale. Murillo, good coverage here to keep it inside the sideline. Deflected back to midfield. And will this start the attack for Fort Lauderdale? Souza through traffic. Laid back, but it's the goal scorer Pilato that gets it back for the Triumph.
Yeah, lovely work back, helping out for his center backs who had gone up to create an aerial presence for that corner. Pilato doing it on both ends of the pitch.
Credit to Noah Pilato. Clows, a preseason injury, had to be out so far, recovering. And a positive recovery at that. It's going to be, this is put in, cleared away. Really tough decision for John Harkes and his coaching staff. See who they want in that midfield. It's one area they're very deep in, but the starting group, certainly deservingly so, the guys so far, but we'll see how that changes, especially in a week like this where there could be some squad rotation.
Well, Klaus is back at training, but Harkes did say his ankle's still a little sore. The way Noah Pilato is playing just allows perhaps Klaus to heal up even more, especially as Greenville sitting on top of the standings. Yeah, John Harkes definitely has a decision to make, though, when the Englishman gets fully healthy.
Here's Morrell. Polak goes down. There comes Souza and Fort Lauderdale. No one here on this left wing. Ball overshooting a bit too far as it's a throw-in for the Triumph. On the road, can't watch the match? Turn on Sirius XM FC, North America's only 24/7 source of soccer radio, featuring Ray Hudson, Tony Miola, and Rodney Marsh. Fans of the USL can now listen to the best matches of the week, along with action from MLS, the Premier League, and the UEFA Champions League. Sirius XM FC, channel 157 on your Sirius XM radio and the Sirius XM app. As once again, the offside flag drawing this Greenville defense against Fort Lauderdale.
Entering the match, number 25.
There will be a sub here
Ethan
for
Harden.
the away side, and it will be Ethan Harden,
15,
center back for
Modesto Mendez.
So a straight
the
switch there.
72nd
Harden, someone
minute.
we saw some positive play from recently.
Yeah, he was very effective Wednesday night. Just seemed to find himself on the end of almost every interception and clearance. Young guy whose dad actually teaches at Palm Beach Atlantic, where a number of USL products have played their college soccer. Charlie Dennis, FC Tucson, Lucas Coutinho, and Michael O'Sullivan of Tormenta. First year pro, Ethan Harden.
Harden, a native of West Palm Beach. Great run for Greenville's defense. As the offense trying to find an insurance tally. The old Triumph player, Gadiri, having other thoughts. Oh, good through ball here. Beautiful one. But Lee will get there first.
Yeah, nice angle taken there by Evan Lee. It's one thing that goes sort of undetected with defenders covering back is the angle taken to that ball. You take the wrong angle and misjudge things, it can lead to a one-on-one with the keeper very easily. Evan Lee did well there.
Fort Lauderdale so far tonight, 5 shots, yet to find a one on target. This through ball, though, might help them out. Over. Ferry can't get to it. And the second opportunity goes to the wayside for Ricky Lopez Espin.
It's great positioning, though, by Brandon Fricky. Always want to get goal side. That's exactly what he did there. And did enough to put off the shot. Didn't have to make a tackle or even get a toe in it. Just had his body between the striker and the goal.
Opposing strikers have had a tough time, to say the least, against this Greenville back line. Lopez Espin, some pressure here, got a deflection to it. That was a tough spot. Carrasco lays it up, and offsides, the flag was up. Not many defenders there, but they did draw the offsides flag.
Dallas J hasn't been called into action much tonight at all and was almost caught out there with a poor clearance.
No look here on the Southern Culture Hospitality Group replay on this chance.
Yeah, Ferry just couldn't get on the end of it, and Ricky Lopez just not quite there in time.
Your attention, please. Substitution for Greenville.
We mentioned the implications of those 2 early subs for Greenville, and they will make all 3 in their final opportunity to stop the match.
Trevor Swartz. And
Swartz,
16, Colin
Stripling, and Donnelly coming on.
Number 14, Lachlan
There goes the
McLean.
goal scorer, Pilato. What a finish.
Alex
That will
Morrell.
surely be a
And
nominee
number
for
20,
goal of the week.
Noah Pilato.
Stripling, more of a defensive midfielder. Swartz we've seen at fullback. And all these substitutions, of course, presented by Spinks. Donnelly coming in for McLean. So we'll see how the attack changes with that substitution. Someone that can play up top or has played on the wing as well.
Yeah, we'll see Swartz on that left side replacing Morel, more of a defensive presence. He won't be bombing forward as much as Alex Morel does. Good to see Colin Stripling out there. He picked up a bit of a hip flexor injury in training during the week and was perhaps a little questionable for tonight, but as we go to the hydro break, it's good to see him out on the pitch.
Ladies and gentlemen, the referee has indicated a
Again, all those substitutions presented by Spinks, and all 5 used by Greenville for this evening. On the other side, Fort Lauderdale still have 2 left by, excuse me, 1 left by my count.
For Triumph matches this season. Thank you for your cooperation.
So we'll see how Jason Kreis chooses to use that as we head further into the evening. And in case you're just joining us for the final 15 minutes of action, let's take a look at that Pilato goal recently off of a set piece. What a finish it was for the midfielder.
Yeah, the ball bounced and Pilato was just first to kind of react to it. And again, the shots don't come much sweeter than that one. Perfect strike off the inside of Dylan Castaneda's right-hand post, and 1-0 Greenville.
Giving the fans something to cheer about. Here's the funny thing with that goal. Technically, Pilato getting the assist and then off the post. So I'm sure there are people out there on social media that will be trying to give Player of the Week honors here in League One to the woodwork. We saw Richmond denied twice, so 2 saves in favor of New England 2 in the first half of last night's match. And then, of course, saving Fricky's attempt at a goal in the first half. So quite a week for the woodwork here in USL League One.
Listen, these things always seem to even themselves out in the end. denied by the post in the first half, but helped by the post with that one from Pilato. And John Harkes, as you said, Chris, has used all his 5 subs, but still 13 minutes to go. So John Harkes will have to be hoping that none of his guys in blue get hurt in these last 13 minutes. It's a bit of a concern. He obviously waited probably as long as he could to get some fresh legs on.
Yeah, there's 2 matches coming up for Greenville this week. Wednesday and Saturday will both be on the road, so they head up to Foxborough in Massachusetts on Wednesday to face off with New England 2. And then Saturday, the second leg of the Bon Secours Cup will be played at City Stadium in Richmond, Virginia. And what a matchup that will be between the Kickers and the Triumph.
Yep, the first match was fun. There's no doubt about that 3-2 victory.
Out of play, it will stay with Fort Lauderdale here in the 79th. Of course, with that Richmond-Greenville matchup, including the one tonight, that Omaha and North Texas result tomorrow will be very important. Omaha still only 4 matches having been played by them, and of course still at 8 points, undefeated. Only other team other than the Triumph to still be undefeated here in League One.
See JJ Donnelly winning an aerial duel, something he's very winning an aerial duel, something he's very apt to do. Good reason he brought on here by John Harkes to get his head on those clearances. Greenville will certainly be looking to put that ball down in deep.
And coming on there for McLean, and your thoughts on his start. Excellent hold-up play, looked really good out there.
He did, yeah. I mean, he didn't get many chances inside the box. The service perhaps wasn't quite as good as he'd perhaps like it to be. But I think McLean does what he does well. He's a big body, holds the ball up well, allows Keegan to run off him a little more. Yeah, I think we'll see more minutes certainly down the road from Lachlan McLean. He's a promising first-year pro. Again, taking up, talked to him last week on a podcast, and we talked about him taking up one of the foreign player spots for Greenville, which is, you don't see that very often for a player coming fresh out of college. You know, a foreign player slot being given to somebody with that obviously 0 pro experience, but John Harkes clearly saw something in him and decided to give him one of those rare slots.
The last 2 matches, a goal and an assist. Today getting his first start for the Triumph after appearing in all previous matches. Here's Ferry. Looking to the near side. Here's Gadiri. Thought about that through ball up the flank, but we'll get it over back to the back line. Greenville now settling in defensively, what they love to do for sure. Polak sending it into the Greenville bench and out of play. One nothing to the Triumph. If this result stands, they would extend their lead at the top of the table to 6 points over the Richmond Kickers, who are currently in second. Ball knocked on. Ascona puts it over everyone in the box, and this will see where this goes out. It is a throw-in right inside the flag.
Yeah, it's Greenville defense is just so disciplined. Don't let anything get behind them, communicate so effectively and make sure that everybody's got somebody covering. They shift very well from one side to the other. You see teams just get frustrated at trying to break them down. It's not just Fort Lauderdale, obviously. Only one team has managed to score on them this season.
And it looks like there will be a card issued for time wasting, and it will be against Evan Lee, it seems, so that will be his second of the season.
Caution has been issued by the referee to Greenville's number 12, Evan Lee, in the 82nd minute.
Long throw in down the flank. There's Donnelly with the initial touch. Out of play up the field.
Greenville do have 3 straight road games after this. Won't be back home again until September 13th. At New England on Wednesday, and then at Richmond, as you said, Chris, and at Tormenta. It's only one real long road trip there. So here comes Stripling.
A good through ball here by the former Tucson man. Finding Donnelly on the run into the final third. Looking for the cross, he'll take the throw in. Tough spot here, 83rd. Want to burn some time off, but also if they can find that insurance tally, would go a long ways to the 3 points, of course. Murillo moving up the sideline, former North Texas SC player. He does a long throw in there, not a huge run up as Stripling heads it back centrally and puts the Triumph back in possession. Polak right back where we started. Murillo on the run, and so is the offsides flag. So 10 combined offsides calls between these two sides today. Look now at the action coming up tomorrow. As we mentioned, we'll start over in Wisconsin. Madison and Orlando doing battle as Darryl Shore and his side on a 2-game unbeaten run, trying to make it 3. And North Texas and Omaha finishing out the weekend and the evening tomorrow for League One. 8 games overall here in the league this week. Packed schedule. Expected a ton of movement up and down the table. Haven't gotten too much of that yet. Biggest move is probably Tucson with that Tuesday victory.
Yeah, listen, as tight as things are in that middle sort of half of the table, I'll say there's any win can jump you up 4 or 5 spots very quickly.
Tormenta up to 8 points with their victory, but keep in mind they have played 7 matches now. Tackled out of play by Young, and it is a throw-in for Greenville. Young coming on in the second half, native of Plantation, Florida, playing in Akron.
It's a pretty solid tackle there from Mr. Young. The collision here on the left wing. Looks like Donnelly just fell over.
Getting tied up there on the far side. And this will go to Fort Lauderdale. Let's take another look at what happened.
Yeah, Donnelly had him hooked with that right arm. That's what the referee saw, and that's what ended up taking down the Fort Lauderdale player.
Down the field, pressure from Greenville, and Keegan's going to get there against Hardin. Works it back over. And Gomez not able to do much with it.
It's a dangerous ball there out the back. You never want to see it being played across the top of your 18-yard box, but Lauderdale got away with it.
Stripling holding back the attack just enough to allow a few bodies more on defense. Carrasco couldn't get there before Murillo. Keegan was offsides.
Yeah, last thing John Harkes is going to want to see is Eduardo Sosa charging in through the middle. He's still capable of producing a moment of magic, just as special as Pilatos was as he shrugs off Aaron Walker.
We'll try left wing now. Gadiri cutting inside. Gadiri lays it off. Sosa top of the box, fires, and a diving stop by Jay, keeping this clean sheet alive.
Well, we were waiting for it, Chris. The 1-0 victory with the Dallas Jay. Big save, and there it was. It was a nice strike by Sosa. Jay got down quickly, palmed it away. Reasonably comfortably in the end, but Sosa with way too much space. It was a good reaction save, to be honest. He had to get down very quickly.
Corner kick for Fort Lauderdale. Can they equalize here? Firing it in. Headed out of play, wide right. Lopez Espin off the mark.
Yeah, got a good head on it, but there was lots of Greenville bodies around him, keeping him off balance.
Getting a talking to. The time wasting, we already saw 1 yellow for time wasting.
Dallas Jay, experienced goalkeeper, he knows exactly what he's doing. He knows just how much time he can waste before getting that first warning, which he just got. Now he'll be extra careful not to get. Lovely turn by Carlos Gomez.
Brilliant turn as Keegan's on the run. Frey got there first. Returned by the defender, but Keegan right back with it.
Jay Keegan has worked his tail off tonight.
Murillo works it to the left wing. Swartz was there. They've been offsides anyway, so ball out of play, and Young will take the throw in here in the 88th. Keegan and Frey have had quite the battle here tonight, running down the field in transition. Here's Kadiri.
See Colin Stripling pinching in there a little bit to help out Aaron Walker with that coverage of Sosa, who, other than that shot there, has been relatively quiet this evening. He showed some glimpses of what he can do. Again, Jason Kreis said he doesn't think he's quite ready for that 90 minutes, although he looks like he's going to get there tonight. Still getting back to full fitness.
Walker out wide. Greenville taking their time. Of course, we had that hydration break and quite a few substitutions, so we should get a bit of stoppage time here for our second half. We saw 6 minutes in the first half. Over the top.
Oh, I thought J.J. Donnelly was definitely offside, but I don't think Carlos Gomez was. The flag went up a little early, I think.
Here comes Fort Lauderdale, just like that the other way. Pollock on the run with them. Good cut over, service in, but over everyone. Here in the 90th minute, Dallas J with a goal kick. That's been the issue tonight. Service from the wing, just a little bit off out there for Fort Lauderdale.
It was a nice little shoulder drop by Valencia to get the space to make the cross, but just a little too long. It's been the story tonight for Fort Lauderdale. Everything's just been just slightly off. They played reasonably well against this Greenville side, just haven't been able to crack that Dallas J goal line.
Ray trying to handle it in the back. Here's the key difference. 4 shots for Greenville in the second half, all 4 on target, including that goal, of course. Murillo, he'll clear this. Yeah, briefly, though, as Ferry right there. We'll keep the attack alive as Frey steps up. Ticking into stoppage time here at Legacy Early College. Pollock trying to let it go out. Indeed, he does. Goal kick for Dallas J. 5 minutes of stoppage time.
For the second half.
Presented by Warehouse Services Incorporated.
Here comes the yellow card. Yep. I mean, didn't seem like Dallas J was really particularly time wasting there, but he already had the one warning. I think Jay will take the yellow card.
His first of the season. Sending this off in front of the Reedy River Riot. Pollock from midfield. Out wide. Swartz, the former TFC2 player. Giving right back. Here's Frey once again stepping up. Lee will come over for this one. And clears it out here with 4 minutes of stoppage time remaining.
Look, a handball there from Ascona. Wasn't called, and now we're going to have a very dangerous free kick for Fort Lauderdale.
Dangerous one to say the least, just outside the box. See how they handle this.
Ferry and Ascona, as well as Gadiri.
Seen Dallas J already have to come up big to keep this clean sheet on the board. 4-man wall for the triumph.
See Carrasco and Ferry having to work with each other. It looks like, excuse me, not Ferry. Looks like Carrasco's going to have a crack here, I think. Perhaps with the outside of his right foot.
Will be Carrasco, fires, and Jay once again knocks it down and grabs it.
Yeah, key to Dallas, Jay was there. It was a long way out, the free kick, and as long as he got a good look at it early, he was going to be in a position to save it, and it wasn't really close enough to the wall, and Jay was in the perfect spot to claim that one without too much difficulty. Well struck, though, by Carrasco, the one real veteran on this team.
Frey getting around Keegan, stepping up once again.
Maybe a bit harsh there on Colin Stripling. It was shoulder to shoulder. Ball may have already gone past him, though, and somebody's giving referee a bit of verbal.
Another yellow provided in the second half, and it's on Aaron Walker. Kind of an awkward spot there.
The referee has issued a caution to Greenville's number 8, Aaron Walker.
Service in. Falls free, and almost a dangerous opportunity. That leads to a goal kick here for Dallas J.
I'm not sure what Edison Ascona's upset about. Ferry, it was a nice ball in to the danger area. It was actually a nice dummy in the end from Maria. I think Dallas J may have called him off. Either that or he was shoved, but he went down and allowed the ball to go over his head. As we wind down here, it'll be a tough loss for Fort Lauderdale if they can't get one late here. It'll be their third of the season, and that really puts them on the brink. You would have to think of missing out on those final 2 spots.
Polak clears it back the other way. Lee heads it, stays alive with Fort Lauderdale, and then Walker comes in to at least end the attack briefly. That's Kona trapped up there with the Greenville defense. Chipped in, no one there, and over to Dallas J.
He smartly chests it down to waste another 3 or 4 seconds.
Jay trying to find his 5th clean sheet of the season. Greenville has only allowed goals in that match against Richmond, and they'll see the kickers next Saturday. All floated in, volleyed back by Murillo as we approach the end of our stoppage time. We'll have to see how much is added on to our already number of 5 minutes. Barry. Flicked in there, headed back by Fricky. And there is the final whistle. Greenville still safe at the top, and they add to their lead with another victory, now on top by 6 points, entering tomorrow's matches in League One.
Listen, this is a team designed to win 1-0 games, as a lot of people have said, even going back to last season. Very defensively oriented, but they have a number of players who can produce moments of brilliance. We've seen almost all of these guys up top either score a key goal or provide a key assist this season already, and now this time it was Noah Pallato's turn to step up.
3rd straight victory with a 1-0 scoreline for the Triumph, and it's 3 points is 3 points. They'll take it any way they can get it. Jay coming up big late with a couple of saves to preserve his 5th clean sheet of the season. Goalkeeper of the year in 2019, certainly proving something here once again in 2020.
Yeah, made a couple of key saves late, and we'll see one of them here.
Now let's take a look at our save of the match for tonight, presented by YMCA of Greenville. And here it is with Jay standing on his head once more.
Well, when Sosa got that ball where he did, you could sure many Greenville fans and players' hearts were in their mouths, because Sosa can strike him. Got a good contact on it, as did Jay with that strong right hand.
Had to come up big on that late free kick as well for Fort Lauderdale. That's our YMCA of Greenville save of the match. That man there, the game-winning goal. It was Donnelly and then McLean. Tonight it's Pilato coming up with a volley chance off the post on the corner kick. What a moment for him here. His first goal as a Triumph player. And for Greenville, yet another victory. They stay undefeated now, 16 points on the season, and we'll break it all down for
We offer a full array of dental treatment.
And what that provides you as a patient is you're able to come to one place and get comprehensive care under one roof.
I've always been greeted with a smile. They know me when I call. I trust them.
We'd love to see you at Wood Creek Dental. Visit us at woodcreekdental.com.
Welcome back here to Legacy Early College. The Triumph and the Reedy River Riot celebrating a 1-0 victory for the Triumph over Fort Lauderdale CF. Big goal by Pilato, clearly goal, play, whatever you want to call it, of the match. What a volleyed opportunity from the midfielder.
Yeah, deep corner from Morel, headed back over by Murillo. One bounce, Noah Pilato, bam, thank you very much.
Player of the match presented by YMCA of Greenville. Pilato getting that 1-0 victory for the Triumph as we check out our full match highlights presented by Wilson and Engelbart. Let's see how it happened. A lot of chances early on for both sides. Very fun battle tonight as a soccer fan. We got started early in chances for the Triumph.
Yeah, it was a back and forth first half, pretty cagey. No real super chances. This is probably one of the best ones. I think each team had one real good chance. This was Greenville's with Morel. We'll see one in a minute from Ricky Lopez Espin down the other end.
Here Muhammad, he played in the first half, came out pretty early in the second half due to injury. Ricky almost found one here.
Yeah, Ricky, McLean, everybody seemed to get a touch on it in there in the 6-yard box, including the post, but didn't go in after all of that mess. Greenville will be concerned with a couple of their injuries heading into this 3-game road trip, that's for sure. The rotation may have to be pared down a little bit due to numbers of healthy players.
Here's some chances for Fort Lauderdale in the back end of things as look to get some opportunities through Lopez Espin.
Again, with the way he's been playing, most people would have put money on him hitting the target from there. Just pulled it wide though.
Tough night for him. 2 shots, 0 on target. As Morel here served up the goal.
This is one of those goals you can't watch enough, I don't think. I think the highlights and the replay of this, when it's up for goal, the league will get plenty of views over the next 7 days. There's no doubt about it.
Pilato and Luca Meyer of Tormenta, really great golazzos to say the least here today. And almost one here from Souza.
Yeah, we were waiting for that key save, as I said, from Dallas J. We knew it was coming, right? And there it was. Great strike by Sosa, and Dallas J with a strong right hand to palm it away.
Big stop by Jay. And another one as well from a free kick from Fort Lauderdale. Our final match stats for today. And the key here in the shot on target for Greenville. Second half, 4 shots, all on target for the Triumph.
Yeah, what we don't see there is also the 11 corners that Greenville managed to come out with. A lot of good pressure in that final third. Obviously, one of those corners ended up with the goal.
So Greenville ending the unbeaten run for Fort Lauderdale, handing them their 3rd loss overall. And there's the big gap at the top. 16 points over 10 in second place for Richmond. Of course, those 2 teams will meet next Saturday in the second leg of the Bon Secours Cup. Union Omaha will see action tomorrow night.
Yeah, Greenville could stretch their lead on Wednesday if they can pick up 3 points up in Boston.
It's going to be a busy week, to say the least, for the Greenville Triumph, but they get it done tonight in their final home match of this home stand. I can thank everyone for tuning in, and for our entire crew alongside me, Ross Davenport. I'm Chris McCoviak. 1-0. Greenville wins it on the goal from Noah Pilato. Tune in for 2 more matches. Finish off your League One weekend coming up tomorrow on ESPN+. We'll see you for more League One action shortly here from Legacy Early College.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League League One cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League League One.